What's going on, Jam Fam? Welcome back to the gaming station. Today we're going to be continuing the Best Brawler series with my favorite game mode, which is going to be Heist. As always, we're using win rates and pick rates to pick my quote-unquote meta list. If you're not familiar with this series, you can go back and watch my gem grab video. I explain the entire process of how I pick my brawlers in that video. Also, go check out my other ones. I've covered Brawl Ball, Solo Showdown, and Siege so far. And we still have Bounty, Duo Showdown, and Hot Zone left to go. But anyway, we're going to get started with the list for Heist right now. And of course, we're going to be starting with honorable mentions. Alright, my first honorable mention is going to be Colt.
This is too
Right now,
easy.
Colt is number 1 in use rate at 25.13%. However, he's only holding a 54% win rate, which isn't quite good enough to make the list, but it's still a solid number. And in my opinion, I think that Colt is suffering from the same thing that he suffers from in Brawl Ball, where his use rate is just way too high, and he's too high of a skill cap brawler in 3v3 mode, so his win rates are suffering because of that. However, I will say that Heist is Colt's best 3v3 mode, in my opinion, and if you want to push him in a 3v3 mode, Heist is probably the place to do it over Brawl Ball, unless you really like to play Brawl Ball and you have a decent organized team. Alright, moving on from Colt, my next honorable mention is going to be Edgar. Right now, Edgar has the third highest use rate at 6.84%, which is pretty good, but his win rate's only at 58.3%, which is about 1% too low to make the list for number 5, so he just didn't make the cut. However, Edgar's solid damage and high mobility is really good for Heist, and I highly recommend playing him there if you want to push him and want to have a pretty decent time doing it. Like I said, he's got solid numbers, he just didn't quite make the cut this time. Alright, those are my only honorable mentions for Heist. Now, let's get into the top 5. Number 5 is going to be Nita. Right now, Nita is 11th in win rate at 59.9% and 6th in use rate at 5.43%. So normally, I like to stick to the top 10 for win and use rate to make my list, but Nita lost to Amber for the 10th place spot by literally 0.1%, so I didn't want to exclude her, and she would have been the number 5 brawler, so for that reason, I'm giving her the nod to hold the number 5 spot. As I said in the past, Nita's really only good in Heist if you were running Hyper Bear. If not, I would suggest running a different brawler because she just doesn't do enough damage to the safe by herself. All of Nita's Heist value is in her bear, and having Hyper Bear makes it so much better when you get it onto the safe that I wouldn't recommend running her any other way in Heist. As far as her gadgets, there's an argument for both gadgets. Just run whichever one you prefer. Personally, I prefer the stun one, but like I said, there's an argument to be made for the shield one as well. Alright, just like that, we're going to move on to number 4. Number 4 is actually going to be Daryl. Right now, Daryl has the 6th highest win rate in the mode at 61% and the 10th highest use rate at 4.15%. Oddly enough, Daryl is the only tank to actually make the list this time, and I think that's for one reason. Daryl is the only tank that has an auto-charging super, and I feel like these maps are moving more towards a long-range oriented meta, and having that auto-charging super allows Daryl to wait patiently. And if people get too close, he can secure a kill pretty quickly, which will also charge his super quicker. Or once he has his super, he can roll in and secure a kill, giving his team a man advantage and allowing them to put pressure on the other team. I mean, Daryl's always been pretty solid in Heist. I just wanted to point out why he might be the only tank in. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments, though. But since I don't have much more to say about Daryl, we're going to move on to number 3. Number 3 is actually going to be Rico. Right now, Rico has the 8th highest win rate at 61.5%. and the 7th highest use rate at 5.39%. Again, Rico is another brawler that's always been pretty solid in Heist, and if you have super bouncy, there's almost always a wall for you to bounce your shot off of to get a little extra damage onto the safe. Not to mention that his super can pierce through people, so if you need to hit the safe and take out an opponent, you can pretty much chain 2 supers right onto the safe. So while Rico is a little bit of a higher skill cap brawler, Heist is definitely one of his better modes, and if you're decent with him, or if you just want to practice your bounce shots, go ahead and try him out in Heist. Alright, just like that, we're on to number 2. Number 2 on my list is going to be 8-Bit. 8-Bit has the 3rd highest win rate at 65.4% and the 5th highest use rate at 6.2%. Having good damage, long range, and a lot of health is a deadly combination in Heist. 8-Bit has always had those 3 things in his kit, but the biggest thing holding him back from being meta in Heist was the difficulty he had getting up and down the map in Heist. Now, between his plugged-in star power and his teleporting gadget, he can easily get up and down the map if you put your turret in a safe spot. So 8-Bit will start out the match pretty slow until he gets his super, but then if you put your super in a good spot and you can utilize the speed boost for most of the map, he can quite literally dominate for the rest of the match at that point after. So yeah, give 8-Bit a try, let me know what you think about him, and we're going to move on to our number 1 brawler. Now, to my surprise, because this one doesn't really make sense to me, number 1 is going to be Colette. Colette right now has the 2nd highest win rate at 66% and the 4th highest use rate at 6.42%. Now, I get that Colette has very solid damage, and she counters tanks extremely well, which used to be really good in Heist. But as I said earlier in the video, I feel like Heist is moving more towards a long-range oriented meta, and most of the brawlers on this list outrange Colette, if I'm not mistaken. So her having such high win rates when she's not faced off against a lot of tanks is kind of weird to me. Like, even if you just look at the top pick rates, it's not like there's a ton of tanks in there. I only see 2, which is Bull and Daryl. So it's not like people are playing tanks and just having no success with them because Colette's in the meta. I guess she can be a decent defense brawler, but she doesn't really do a ton of damage to the safe, so she's not really going to help you like win the game. She's just going to make it difficult for people to do damage to your safe. I don't know, this pick's a little weird to me, but like I said, I'm going off the numbers, and right now she took the top spot. So, just to recap, my top 5 brawlers are Nita, Daryl, Rico, 8-Bit, and Colette. Other than Colette, everybody else I'm pretty happy with. Nita, I'm not really a big fan of her in Heist because she's so star power reliant just to be decent in the mode, but everybody else fits very well in my opinion. But as always, let me know what you think about my list and tell me who you like to play in Heist. I know Spike is a very popular choice, but I feel like after his nerf, he's a lot harder to play because he's got such a long reload speed now. He does rank in terms of use rate, but his win rate didn't appear anywhere near the top 10. So I expect people to complain about him getting snuffed from the list, honestly. But hey, what are you going to do? Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.